观众朋友们，大家好，欢迎收看《活在5点》，我是主持人米莉。那大家呢可以通过搜索 wow1tvlive 就可以在 YouTube 上观看我们的直播节目了。那我们今天呢很高兴的邀请到了国会议员双称做客我们节目间。It is our pleasure to have MP Sean Chen in our show today. So he's going to do a little bit introduction of how is government doing for COVID-19 vaccine and the progress government has on it. So hi Sean, nice to meet you.
Hi, Millie. Nice to see you.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about a little bit today on government progress of COVID-19 vaccine and the priority of government's work. So is there any updates you can give us on federal government progress on COVID-19 vaccines?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, let me just say that this has been an extraordinary year for all of us. It has been a challenging year. It has been difficult for many Canadians. But the good thing is that right now we are on track to get Canadians vaccinated. Canada has secured one of the most comprehensive portfolios of vaccines of any country in the world. And we are on track to vaccinate every Canadian that wishes to get the vaccine by September 2021. As of this month, we have been able to deliver over 1.1 million doses of the 2 vaccines that have been approved by Pfizer and Moderna. And we are on track to have the remainder delivered in the coming months. And we want Canadians to get vaccinated. This has been a very challenging and difficult year. And certainly we need to ensure that Canadians are protected from the COVID-19 virus so that we can all get past this and move forward with our lives. But until we do that, we must stay safe, we must protect ourselves, and we must ensure our seniors and those that are most vulnerable stay protected.
Yeah, it is true. We can all see that government have tried their best and put lots of effort into helping people protect themselves from the COVID-19 and help them, support them during this pandemic. So as a member of parliament, is there anything that you can share with us? How do you help our community during this pandemic?
Well, it's been a long year, and certainly once the pandemic hit Canada last March, we were told as MPs, we were told very clearly we must go back to our constituencies. I remember I was in Ottawa when they said that we won't sit the next day in Parliament because of the pandemic hitting our country. So since then, I've been in the constituency and I've been working very closely with the community. And I have to say, it's the generosity of people, of Canadians, of local businesses and individuals that have been wanting to give back. So throughout these many months, I've been able to help secure close to 300,000 pieces of PPE, whether they are surgical masks, N95 masks, gowns, and other gloves and other equipment to provide to our community. We have delivered this PPE to our local hospital, the Scarborough Health Network. We have given a lot to the local residents. We have delivered them to 2 of our seniors' homes, St. Peter and Paul senior residents and the Yihong Center. And I'm so proud because by working together, we have ensured that both of our seniors' homes in our local community have had 0, and I repeat, 0 cases of COVID-19. So this is quite a wonderful thing that none of the seniors in our local seniors' homes have been affected. And it's due to the hard work of our local community. It is thanks to the local businesses, the individuals, and of course, the frontline workers, the doctors, the nurses, the healthcare professionals, and other workers that each and every day have worked so hard to protect our seniors and our most vulnerable. So it's been quite a pleasure and an honor for me to help work with our local community to make this happen. And not only that, we've seen businesses. I've had a local banquet hall and local restaurants step up and say, we want to cook meals. So I've been able to not only deliver PPE, but to deliver food to our seniors' homes and food as well to the Scarborough Health Network, to the local hospital, to say thank you to those frontline workers because they've been working around the clock each and every day to save lives and to support our most vulnerable. And so it's been quite an incredible journey, but it's one that we have done together as a community. And it's been such a pleasure to see all that good work happen on the ground.
Thank you very much, Sean. I can see there's a lot of effort being put into the senior home of government and also you as an MP, because senior home, we can see it is the most danger, like a type of people that needs the best protection from government and from everyone. So I think it's like you really do a good job, and I think our government really puts lots of effort into it. So that's one group, and we know another group. Unfortunately, we know that COVID-19 was first found in China. So lots of people has a kind of racism towards Asian people, and I think Asian people need lots of protection from this. So is there anything that you can tell us? How do government help to fight against the Asian racism?
You know, Millie, this has been a problem from the beginning. I remember back last year in the early part of the year when the outbreak happened in Wuhan, we saw Chinese businesses here in Canada affected. There was a restaurant that was vandalized. There were Asian Canadians who were called names and who were treated in very discriminatory ways. There were local forums that we held. In fact, there was a local forum here in our community in the Chinese Cultural Center. Another one was held at Woodside Square, and we talked about the rise of anti-Asian racism because of the pandemic, because of the negative association that people had with China and this virus. And at the end of the day, the focus has to be on how we as humanity work together to solve this global health crisis. So it's been quite an interesting outcome of this and a sad outcome to see this type of racism and discrimination come about in our Canadian community. I in fact spoke out about this in Parliament back a year ago when it started happening, to denounce this anti-Asian racism, to say that it is not acceptable. It does not reflect who we are as Canadians. We know that Canada is a country that has been built up through immigration. We know how important it is that we continue to value our charter and the rights that it gives to Canadians. And we pride ourselves as a country that is diverse and multicultural. And therefore, it is so important that we work towards inclusion and that we work together to denounce racism and discrimination and hatred in all its forms when it comes up. It's so important that we do that. Our government has taken some meaningful action in this regard. And this year we've been launching our anti-racism strategy. And part of that is the Anti-Racism Action Program. It's meant to give groups that are working towards breaking down the barriers to employment, to justice, to social inclusion, whether they are community organizations or agencies or individuals working to achieve this. The government's program is intended to fund these types of projects and to ensure that Canadians are able to push forward and create that inclusive society that we all want to see. Because it's not just anti-Asian racism, as we saw this past year. We also saw anti-Black systemic racism come to the forefront. We saw protests all around the world. And in those protests, we also saw Asian Canadians, Asians step up and say, we stand together against anti-Black racism. We stand together against anti-Indigenous racism. We stand together against anti-Asian racism. And that is why this is so important for all of us as Canadians, because hatred, you know, Millie, it has no boundaries. It affects one group one day and the next day it's on to another group. So the only way to eliminate hatred is to stand together as all Canadians and to say that we reject it, and we're going to work hard to try to break down those barriers and create a more inclusive society.
Exactly. I think when we face COVID-19, that pandemic, everyone have to stand together, work as a whole group to fight this, and that is the only way to make the situation better. And Is there anything that you can share with us of some highlights of year 2020? I mean, it's a difficult year, but can you give us some highlights?
Yes. Well, I have to say, there's been so many incredible moments that I've had over this past year. I've spent a lot of time in the constituency, which is unusual because of the fact that we are federal MPs. As a federal MP, 26 out of the 52 weeks in the year are typically sitting weeks, meaning that the parliament is in session. So MPs usually are then in Ottawa working hard to represent their local constituencies in the federal parliament. But this past year, I've been able to do that virtually, meaning that I've stayed in Scarborough, been able to work more on the ground. And I have to say, there's been so many great moments, Millie. I can't pick a favorite, but I'll share a few examples. This past Christmas, I did a toy drive, a Christmas toy drive and giveaway, where we were able to identify families in our community who were most impacted by the pandemic. And we packaged toys that were generously donated through the Scarborough Gurdwara and a local school. And we were able to deliver those toys to the children.
Wow.
And I was just so touched by the smiles of the children. A lot of them have been at home. They've been isolated with their families. They've not been able to go to school as they would under normal circumstances. And to see their smiles, it was just so touching. I also have been to the doors to deliver care packages to our seniors. They too have been isolated, and in fact, they've been the most affected. A lot of our seniors have been at home throughout these entire months and have not even seen their own families, except perhaps just to receive groceries or through online means. So to see them in person and be able to drop off that care package or that food package has been so touching. It just is a reminder of the incredible struggle that so many people have been going through, and the fact that we all need to come together and support each other. And that's what's made our community so great, is that throughout these months, in spite of the difficulties, people have come together. People have been there to support each other. Neighbors are watching out for each other. And out of all this trauma and this experience of COVID-19, we have been able to stay strong and stay positive, and that's what makes every moment worth it for this job. So I'll share that with you in terms of what has been so meaningful for me.
Thank you so much, John. I can see there's a lot happened in 2020, and thank you for all the efforts that you put in the community to make the community better. And in the end of our communication, is there any priorities that government is working on for 2020?
You know, there are a lot of things that we are juggling right now. We're just going through the pre-budget process right now, but the single most important thing, Millie, as far as I'm concerned, is that our government is entirely focused on COVID-19 and the health and safety and security of each and every Canadian. If anything defines what we're doing right now, it is exactly that. We want to see Canadians come out of this pandemic stronger than ever before. And that is why our focus is very much on their health and their safety. And we're doing that by focusing on recovery. We're doing that by focusing on ensuring that when we recover from COVID-19, we are going to build Canada up even stronger than ever before. So that recovery is going to make us a better country. We're building into that recovery a focus on environmental sustainability. We know how important global climate change is, and now is an opportunity for us to tackle that very important challenge. We know how important it is to build a country that is inclusive, because we have seen how devastating racism and discrimination can be. So that is why when we build Canada up and recover from COVID-19, we are going to build an inclusive society, one that ensures that people of all backgrounds are included and that they are able to participate in society fully. We are going to build a Canada that is even better than ever before through innovation, through economic development. And so while we recover from COVID-19, we want to make sure that the type of recovery we had will make Canada even better than ever before. So that is our focus, and that is what we will continue to do with the help of Canadians. This is a joint effort. We need all Canadians to work together to make our country better, and we will certainly do that.
Thank you very much, Sean Chen, and I can really feel that we have our government as our biggest support that is in our back and support us as Canadians to become a better country. Thank you very much for telling us and showing us all the things that government is doing, and thank you for coming to our show today.
Thank you, Millie. 很高兴，谢谢你。
谢谢，也谢谢电竞观众朋友们收看本期节目，我们下期节目再见，大家拜拜。
拜拜。